Hello and welcome everybody to week 9 of the World of Outlaws series. This week we're in Knoxville. Let's get started with some qualifying. Always love coming to Knoxville. It's one of the first tracks that you're going to learn whenever you come into iRacing. It's for all levels. But qualifying went pretty good for me. I ended up qualifying either third or fourth. I don't want to lie to you for sure. I've actually did this video a couple of weeks ago, so I just had to sit down and talk about it with you guys. But I've been putting in a lot of hours at work, and just kind of hadn't felt like sitting down and editing videos and stuff like that. And I apologize for being so late getting this one out, but I figured I'd better sit down and get it out for you. It's moving into Heat 1. I got the outside pole here. I like starting outside pole here at Knoxville because it's usually a high groove track. Once the slick builds and everything's going to move up top on this track. I didn't actually have the time to, work on the setup, and I used my old Knoxville setup, but iRacing, they update their tracks quite often, so every time you come back there's going to be a little bit different, and you've either got to adjust your driving or adjust your car. I didn't have the time to adjust the car, so I figured I'd just try different lines and stuff and try to learn from these other guys that have been racing it all week to see where they're running at. So, the pole setter, he gets a pretty good jump on me there. I jump up to the high groove. I ended up touching the wall there, and when I slung it into the corner, I realized, that, hey, there's no berm there yet. We just started the night. You're in Heat 1. So, by the time I got bounced off the wall there, I came out in last place. But, very next corner, this happens, which takes out the rest of the field besides me and the number 1 car. Or I should say the guy sitting on the pole. Sorry, I forgot his number already. But with him having the gap that he's got on me and me having the gap I've got on third place, there's not a lot of racing though I've got to show you for this heat race. So I figured I'd just go ahead and move into Heat 2. This is pretty much how we finished the heat race here. And Heat 2, you got Ernie here, Ernie Williams Jr. He's you can tell by the low number on his car that he's got a pretty high I rating. That I rating is not a seasonal thing. It's a career thing. So if you've been running here for a couple of years or something, you're going to have a pretty good I rating compared to most of the others. But it's something you got to keep. And pretty much the way it works is the higher the I rating you got, the lower number you got on your car. So like say you're car number 6 or your car number 12. Well, the more lower card numbers drivers you can put behind you that you finish in front of, in other words, the higher points you're going to get from the I rating. And I believe I came in here, with the 7th highest I rating of these guys that are in this race. But yeah, Ernie jumps out to early lead here. He's going to make anybody earn his I rating. So yeah, he didn't go up to the top shelf though, and I was watching that during, after my race. I always try to watch either the next heat race, or if I'm in the second heat race, I'll watch the first one to see the wear of the track and see where everybody's running to get around the slick, and what seems to be a quicker line. Ernie kind of ran like a mid-groove, which was different from my heat. My heat, we were all running top shelf, So, a lot has to be said about your setup and how you drive it. Just because I set up a car for me to be fast doesn't mean the next guy can get my setup and be fast, or me be fast in his setup. It's your driving style and how you set your car. But yeah, this is pretty much how Heat 2 went. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the feature and get that started, the A main.
Alright, well, good luck, guys.
So in the A main, I got inside row 2, which is position 3. Now, we were talking about where your car likes to run. My car liked the top shelf, but I learned here, having to start on the low side, that I can run a little bit of low side too. But you're going to see right away that those top 2 cars right there, the black one and the blue one there, the front, they're going to be pretty hard to catch. So they knew the quickest line, they knew where the slick was, and and this is all stuff that I should have known. Like I said, characteristics change weekly on these tracks almost, and then they do imitate weather conditions and moisture in the track and how well the track's and the temperature of the track. So they do emulate those too. So every time you run here, it's not like the last time you ran. So your last setup is gonna be different from the setup you're running now. Problem I had is I didn't have time to work on setup. I ran my last setup. So I managed to keep my 3 spot here on the start, but you can see that every straightaway that we go into, all of a sudden it's like I'm tied to a stump and they're just walking off. I might even make up a little ground in the corners on them, but when we get in the straightaway, they put another half a car length on me or something. But I was able to, put a gap between me and the 4th place car here at the beginning. So I started feeling comfortable that, I'm about right where I qualified. Qualified 3rd or 4th, and I'm running 3rd or 4th in the feature. So I feel I'm doing the best with the setup that I've got at the current time. I noticed during qualifying that there was a pretty familiar name in here. He's on Dirt Vision every week for his racing and everything, and that's Chase Cabra. He started 13th, and I think he pretty much did that on purpose, you know, just to either get some practice in, or you know, or maybe it's an ego thing. I don't know. Like, look at me, I can start last and still run up front by the time it's over. But you know, I kept watching. We have a relative screen on our car. It kind of tells you where people are at and how far, you know, the time between you guys. And I kept watching that as we were going on, watching where Chase was, because I knew he was back there and I knew he was coming. He's that fast. And knowing that I'm not running with the, you know, second or first and second up there, you know, I think somewhere in here we kind of started balancing out. Like, they weren't gapping me anymore, but I was running about the same times as they were, so I wasn't gaining either. I was checking into that whenever I was doing the video, and I was watching their times and my times, and we were running pretty close to the same times. So I did get it. I just didn't get it early enough.
Really, dude? That's a complete asshole move. Sorry. You mean to do that?
That black car that just slid through the curve back there behind me, that's Chase. He's already made it from 13th to 4th in 11 laps. And I believe we're going to bring out our first caution here, so I want to show you that. Ooh, that was a pretty hard hit. But yeah, so Chase has made it from 13th. He's up to 4th. He's sitting next to me on my outside. I know that I have nothing for 1 and 3, and if Chase is as fast as he always is, I've got nothing for him. What I'm going to do here is, since I feel like I've got something for the rest of the field, is I'm going to follow these guys here and find their line. I mean, you can just tell from the get-go. I mean, it's like I'm tied to a stump. The 3 of these they're just going to walk off on me. See the straightaways? They just fade away. And I believe our second caution just came out, so I'll be showing you the replay of that. Yeah, when you wreck at Knoxville, it's a pretty hard hit usually. The type that you usually can't finish the race afterwards. I mean, I don't have any drag in my car at all. I'm not sliding my car. Pretty sure I got the right gear ratio. The only thing I did know is that at the end of the race, as far as drag goes, is I had about 3 clicks of wing in the car. 3 out of 10, and you know, minimal. I believe we're going into another caution here. Let me show you the replay on it. That looked like a hell of a ride. Flipped all the way down the front stretch. yeah, so with only 3 clicks in it, I felt like I had most of my restriction off. And there's other ways of getting rid of